It is decision week, July 15th through the 21st. We're going to recap. We're going to preview, I should say, some of these monster commitments that could reshape not only the top 10, but the top 5 potentially. So let's start with July 15th. That's today. We're going to get it popping in the state of Texas. Decaney, Texas it is. Nick Towson and wide receiver Tunuk Hines, they are both making their commitments. Nick Towson, one of the top tight ends in America. Let's start with him. Is this going to be a great day for the Longhorns with Nick Towson?
I think so. I'm projecting him to be in Texas's class. He took official visits to USC, Texas A&M, Alabama, but Texas is the program trending hard, according to sources with knowledge of the recruitment. The Longhorns have the nation's number 16 class. This is one of the most dynamic, fastest tight ends in the country. Would be a big pickup for Steve Sarkisian and company as they continue to try and play at the caliber they have been on offense. He would be someone that could be very explosive for them, a guy that's a big play waiting to happen with his skill set.
And Tunuk Hines, he's a big play wide receiver as well. Teammates with Nick Towson at Decaney High School. Tunuk, is he going to stay in state or is he going to head out?
No, I like USC over Notre Dame and Texas, among others, right now for him. USC's putting together a sneaky good receiver class. They have Corey Sims in the fold that they lured away from Mizzou and others. And then Romero Ison is one of the most explosive, one of my favorite prospects in the country that is definitely not a household name. He's from Baltimore, Maryland. He's committed to USC, been in the fold since April. Dynamic player. If they're able to add Tunuk Hines, which I think they will, to Sims and Ison, that'll be one of the Big Ten's best receiver hauls this cycle.
All right, July 17. Now, this is the big one that a lot of people have had marked on their calendars for weeks, ever since DJ Pickett set the date. He's going to come off the board, and early on, when he first set the date, all the picks started going in for Oregon. We saw the Ducks trending. They felt really good about where they stand. But over the last 5-7 days, Miami has picked up steam. I talked to you. I talked to Chad Simmons. All the experts here at On3, everybody is saying, watch out. Do not sleep on the Canes. Now, here we are, just about 48 hours out. What do you think on DJ Pickett? Do you have a prediction?
This could be a special week for Miami at the cornerback position as they recruit DJ Pickett, who's committing on Wednesday, and then Jabori Antoan, who will announce his decision on Saturday. Miami is the number 10 class in the country. Where will they be next Sunday when you're hosting Inside Scoop, and then Monday when we're talking Wiltfong Whip Around? So hit like and subscribe for notifications on future shows. But talking to a source this morning, again, Miami is in the thick of this one for DJ Pickett. It's kind of a back and forth, right, with Oregon and Miami and these conversations and what these programs can do for these young men on and off the field. Obviously, DJ Pickett and his family grew up Miami fans. They've been around that program a lot. His cousin, Booker Pickett Jr., is a true freshman at Miami. But Oregon, the trajectory of the program, when they get out to Eugene, the family, it says it's a long trip, but when they get there, they forget about the travel. They just feel at home. They love the opportunities at Oregon beyond Nike, just what all the connections that program has with people off the football field, and Dan Lanning, the defensive philosophy, his track record. These two programs are doing a great job. LSU rounds out the final three, maybe not a better relationship than the one that they have with Corey Raymond, and LSU is going to go down swinging for him as they push for a top 5 recruiting class. But it could be a special week for Miami with DJ Pickett and Jabori Antoan. And Josh, DJ Pickett put out his decision date 2 weeks before his decision. And we were talking a lot about Oregon at the time, but you and I both acknowledged 2 weeks is a lot of time. And it's certainly been that for Miami to thrust themselves in here and make things very interesting down the stretch for the Ducks. But Oregon's been closers too in the Lanning era. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think Mario Cristobal would love to beat Dan Lanning here on the trail with him coming from Oregon to Miami.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the recruiting prediction machine here on On3, and none of the picks have changed for DJ Pickett. So what's going to happen over the next 48 hours? Do you think that we will see a slide in momentum on the recruiting prediction machine, or is this just smoke and rumors?
No, I think it's possible that RPM favors the U by Wednesday, but there's some big conversations still to be had in this recruitment going into Wednesday.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Now, Thursday, July 18th, defensive lineman Jarquez Carter, one of the top available in the state of Florida, one of the top available defensive linemen, and he's being recruited by everybody in the state of Florida, but also Penn State and Ohio State. Do you think in the end, when Jarquez Carter makes his announcement on Thursday, he stays in state, or can Penn State or Ohio State come in and nab him?
I think that the in-state programs are intriguing in this one. UCF is a school that I think is one that should not be slept on in this recruitment. And obviously he's been on Florida's campus a ton. So those in-state programs have put in a lot of equity into this recruitment.
All right. And then on July 19th, another 5-star commitment. We're going to see safety Trey McNutt make his announcement, and all signs, it seems like it's a wrap to Oregon, but I know that there's a couple teams that are not going to go down without a fight here.
Yeah, I talked to a source on Sunday and then also talked to Trey on Sunday. I get the sense 70% Oregon, 30% Texas A&M. I still think the Ducks get it done, but Texas A&M doing what they can to change the trajectory of that recruitment. Josh, those programs have battled quite a bit on the trail in this cycle as they both try and sign top 10 recruiting classes. You talk about Texas A&M. They've had some big wins over Oregon so far. So Oregon trying to flip that script. A&M was able to go out and win for Hussam Longstreet, one of the top quarterbacks in the country, Adonis Curry, a blue chip corner from California, and Noah McHale, linebacker from California, Marco Jones, an edge rusher from California, all had the Ducks and A&M as finalists. They're all in the class for the Aggies, but Oregon trying to change the way that those recruitments have gone. They lead for Trey McNutt, in my opinion, and they have the momentum for Jonah Williams, the number one safety in the country. Texas A&M led a month ago for him. They're trying to get that momentum back, in my opinion, as Oregon's the hot team for Jonah Williams.
Does Trey McNutt's decision, even if he ends up going to Oregon or Texas A&M, does that impact Jonah Williams at all?
I don't think so. Trey McNutt is a true safety, and some view him as the number one safety in the country. And that's because Jonah Williams is just a Swiss Army knife on the back end, can play multiple positions in the secondary, could even come up and give you some snaps at linebacker with his skill set. He's one of the unique body types and athletes. He's just a guy that he kind of reminds of Kyle Hamilton with this skill set and the versatility that he has on the back end. Jonah Williams shouldn't be worried about any player. He's on the field in a variety of ways, doing a lot of things, erasing mismatches. He can rush the passer. He forces turnovers. There's just a lot going on with Jonah Williams. Trey McNutt's that true safety. Oregon would be lucky to have them both. The Aggies would be lucky to have them both. These programs are doing what they can to sign both 5 stars.
Yeah, A&M and Oregon throwing haymakers out there on the recruiting trail. And then on July 20th, that's Saturday, right here on the On3 Recruits channel, subscribe. Jabori Antoan is going to make his decision. Now, last week we talked about him, and you mentioned that there was some confidence in Tallahassee, but talking to you over the last couple of days, are you maybe leaning a little bit toward Miami as we're just about 5 days away from this announcement?
Well, I think there's some confidence around Coral Gables that they can get that done too. If you can land DJ Pickett and Jabori Antoan, who's going to sign a better combination of corners this cycle? Miami has a chance to do it. Top 10 class for Miami right now, but Mario Cristobal and company, they want to be in the top 5. That's where they were last cycle. They have the names on the board to do that this cycle. They just hit on one of their top receivers over the weekend, Dalen Upshaw, a 4-star from Alabama. They want to finish the class out big at that position too. Jamie French is a guy that they've been trending up for. They're still recruiting guys like Joshua Moore, who's committed to Florida. I know Dallas Wilson just doubled down on his commitment to Oregon, but Miami's still going to try and poke away at that one. And then Vernell Brown III, he's committing this weekend. Florida's the on 3 RPM favorite, but Miami's doing what they can to hang around with him as well.
All right. Now, Derek Meadows is going to announce. He's going to announce on July 20th. He was supposed to announce on July 13th, which was this past Saturday, but about 24 hours out, he said, whoa, we got to wait a week. What does that mean? Because at the time, a lot of people thought LSU was maybe the favorite to land Derek Meadows over Notre Dame. Of course, Alabama, Michigan also involved. But does this Derek Meadows delay help anyone?
Yeah, it absolutely helps Notre Dame because I think I was one of them on July 13th if Derek Meadows was going to announce his college decision. he's going to end up in the class for the Bayou Bengals, and he still might. But Notre Dame, they've been on Derek Meadows the longest. He's one of their most prized targets, regardless of position, this cycle. And I think they've shown Derek Meadows and his family how much of a priority he is for them over the last week with some of the dialogue that they've had and some of the opportunities he would have at Notre Dame. So I think the Irish are right there in the thick of it with LSU down the stretch. Alabama seems to maybe be fading, but as we've seen now with Derek Meadows' recruitment here late in the process, as programs are making their final phone calls, the momentum can change at any point. But LSU, Notre Dame, 1 week to go. We'll see what happens. LSU's former offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock, now in South Bend. Meadows and his family think that means a lot for receivers, getting more opportunities with Notre Dame down the road. They've been a tight end, running back heavy offense. But Mike Denbrock being at Notre Dame after coming from LSU, where they had the top offense in the country, Notre Dame pointing to that, where LSU pointing towards just the run of receivers that have come out of Baton Rouge, Brian Kelly's track record, Cortez Hankton, all of that. So LSU, they had the momentum coming into the week of July 13th. Notre Dame trying to get it back going into July 20th decision.
All right, now we're going to talk offensive lineman Cortez Smith here in the next segment, so we'll cover that. But he's a July 20th, another July 20th. It's going to be another busy Saturday for commitments. Defensive lineman Floyd Buard comes off the board. Now, he's from South Florida, but is he going to stay in state?
I don't think so. I think that USC and Oklahoma are the programs to watch. I know we said recently Miami, but I think that as Miami continues through its process in 2024, they want to see more things from Floyd. I think Oklahoma and USC are the programs I'm watching. USC was the major team to beat coming out of his official visit. Oklahoma grabbing some of that momentum late in the process.
Yeah. All right. Now, then on Sunday, this is the last commitment of the week, and it's a big one. Wide receiver Vernell Brown III, he's going to make his decision right here on the On3 Recruits channel. Hit subscribe for that. He's going to do it on Sunday, and all signs point to the Gators. We haven't talked a whole lot of Florida Gator recruiting this summer compared to last summer when they were the kings of June. They were landing commitments in July. I mean, we were talking Florida Gators all summer. Could Vernell Brown III kind of be the spark the Gators need to get recruiting going?
I think the spark Florida needs to get recruiting going is to have a good start to the season. But Vernell Brown III will be a nice recruiting win this summer. Obviously, two-time legacy recruit that's probably always pictured himself playing his college football inside the swamp where his dad played. His grandfather attended school at Florida. He's been around that program so much. You know what it does for you on the field, off the field. Ohio State at one point I thought was the leader. Miami and Florida State are the other finalists, but Vernell Brown III has always loved the Gators, and with that, we love Florida's position. Now, Florida, they hosted a lot of top targets this spring and summer. These are guys just keeping Florida warm, even if they're committed elsewhere. Guys like Hilton Stubbs, perhaps. The number one linebacker in the country, Ty Jackson, he's going to be back at Florida next weekend for a big recruiting weekend in Gainesville, but these guys want to see Florida play. And you and I, we talk about it. I feel like we talk about it every show, but that Florida-Miami game to open the season is a hell of an opportunity for Billy Napier and his staff to really start grabbing some major momentum on the recruiting trail and then build off it throughout the season. I know they like the way they've attacked the portal. I know they like the way Graham Mertz has continued to develop inside their building. There's a lot of people outside Gainesville that think that this is going to be a rough year for Florida, but I think internally there's a lot of confidence that they are going to start showing people that this program really is on the uptick. And if that indeed happens, Florida's going to be in for some major flips and some big recruiting wins during the season. But I think going into the season, they got a great chance to get a big recruiting win in Vernell Brown III.
All right, let's talk about it, guys. July 15th through the 21st, we're going to see a massive amount of names come off the board. We just previewed a bunch of them. Let us know, comment section below. Where do you think these guys are going? Do you agree with Steve or do you disagree? Let us know, comment section below.